Look at that. Welcome back. It's Hop Smell Show. Hop.
String. Been a minute.
Yeah, it's been a couple minutes.
Several,
minutes. Yeah. And we're all in this makeshift studio. We went to Ladders Leaders last night. There's some good buddies, Everybody's Nightmare and the Motley Crue thing. I just had some stuff, so put it up. Love took down his Grateful Dead stuff. So really happy about it.
He's moving out. We're moving in. So.
Yep. And anyway, I gave me and String were talking about our buddy Andy Stiltner is going through some rough times right now. And usually we like to do dedications, kind of. And music's usually a powerful tool for, keeping people on the well.
Yep. It's always good music always keeps you, like to say, useful and makes you feel good anyway, and puts you get your headspace in a more positive direction usually. So
it takes your mind off a lot of stuff. Yeah. So and that's good for people too. But he wanted to hear of all stuff, freaking Pantera.
Yep. We'll keep it the PG version.
Yeah, the 5 minutes alone. Yep. And I was thinking about this earlier, and I got a lot of memories, especially with String. We was probably really hanging out pretty heavy about this time. This is when we started pounding around. And I remember we listened to this album a lot. And and this was when Pantera was at their peak.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they were firing on all cylinders right now. I mean, it gets a little weird after that, but this was when they were the biggest thing in the world, right?
Yeah. Because I think you had a coworker or somebody that didn't like the album or something, or you had CD, and then I bought it off of. You had already had it, but I guess they were trying to get rid of it, and I ended up buying it because at that point I'd heard stuff off of Cowboys, but seems like I still wasn't like fully into them yet, and I ended up buying that album then off of whoever it was, but so win for me anyway.
Yeah, and I remember for a Vulgar, I was all in. Yeah. Once that album dropped, I'd heard Cowboys, but once Vulgar dropped, and I'd heard Walk and all that, I was all in.
Yeah.
Still all in. I mean, there's still, man, them first three. Well, I like their whole collection, honestly.
Yeah. Them first even when you go back to the hair metal stuff.
Yeah. And even that stuff's good.
Yeah.
But the transition from that, the Pantera that most people know, was a pretty big transition. But the old stuff's worth going back and checking out.
Because I think I always get a couple of them mixed up. I think Power Metal was the very last one right before Cowboys came out, and Phil was on that album. And when you listen to the album, it still had some I don't know, I don't want to say that hair metal sound to it, but it had a little bit of it. But you could tell the progression, after hearing Cowboys, how that transition was happening on that album versus the previous, the more traditional hair metal sounding stuff. And and then it just every album was a little bit heavier, a little bit heavier, a little bit heavier. And so, yeah.
Well, and we've always said that, we've talked about that on the show, that they carried the flag hard for many years when music was, everybody was doing different stuff, trying to find their footing, and Pantera just blew the door down and just, just straightforward shove it down your throat. Here it is.
Yep. And all the other bands were getting knocked out and basically, going, off the music scene altogether, just pretty much music industry pretty much flushed them all down the toilet, and then here's Pantera just swinging that flag, throwing the horns and never looking back.
It's kind of like, Metallica during Master Puppets era, when they went so hard against the grain and said, we don't need radio, we don't need this, we can do it with our fans, we'll do it for fans. That's what it's all about, which is cool. Anyway, Andy, we hope you're doing good, buddy.
Yeah, man, we're thinking about you.
And we want to do this dedication, so here's your little 5 minutes alone. Great song, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-oh. This is 4K. definitely feels 4K, guys. Crystal clear. And it's so aggressive.
Yeah, like I said, even going from Cowboys to this, it was like a big step up.
I thought this was the video that had like.
Oh no, that was
You know what I'm talking about? Where you just sit like behind the scenes recording in that room. All I'm broken. Got that heavy bass line in there.
Yeah.
Pretty wild how they slowed down the bending of the string.
one of the many guitars that just very iconic, stands out. Everybody that sees it knows exactly who it belongs
to. Yeah, definitely a classic.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I don't remember anything before this video, and maybe there was, but I don't remember anybody else having like before this video with like the up close with the strings and all that. That was pretty innovative for that time. I think.
I don't know, when did this album come out?
Oh fuck, I'm horrible at remembering dates.
Well, Motley '94 album, the song "Smoke the Sky." Mick's got a guitar, like a camera on his guitar fret, where you can see him run, because it's got a big old guitar riff at the beginning. That's the only thing I can think of that's even close to that. And this might have been out, I think this might have been '93.
That's kind of what I was thinking. I think 90, I know 91 was too early, but let's see here. Let's do a Google real quick.
But anyway, yeah, that's shout out to our good buddy Andy. Man, we're praying for you, dude. And you couldn't pick a better song. That song's classic. And the whole album is classic. The whole Pantera collection. I know your wife mentioned also, some Alice in Chains. And there's another good band. We was listening to Alice in Chains last night. Talking about how great of an album Dirt was in the first album. And even what did we go with for the try? Ain't that what Todd said?
Tripod.
Old
I never heard it called that.
Which I'd heard, but it'd been a while since I'd heard it.
Yeah, it looks like 92.
92 then. So they were the first ones then.
Yeah.
That was way before the Crew was doing it. Yeah. Crew might have got their idea from that.
Yeah, that's like I said, and maybe there was something else out there that somebody that had put something similar, or maybe I don't know. But yeah, I don't really remember anything.
Well, I mean, after watching that, and I'm thinking while the solo was going on, Rex is holding the song together with the bass, and I'm thinking, this is really just a heavy version of Van Halen.
Yeah, 94 it was. 94. Right. I was looking on the wrong fucking album for some dumbass reason.
But they were like a really heavy Van Halen, because you had the Abbott brothers were like the Van Halen brothers, and then you had Phil, which he was kind of his own personality, like Dave Lee Roth was.
Yeah.
And then Michael held it all together. You ever heard much out of him, kind of like Rex.
Yep.
So,
yeah, they were a band that I didn't like catch on to very early, and then I think it was you had talked about them, and then I kind of kept listening a little bit more and more of it, and definitely got into it, and then like I said, it was back then I wasn't really listening to that kind of heavy stuff, and they just progressively kept growing on me, and just then now I listen to way heavier shit than that. So it's like now I don't listen to much milder stuff.
To me, they were kind of like Metallica. What you're saying is like with Metallica. When I first heard it, it was kind of like, man, I don't know. But when I got it, and that's with Pantera. When I got Pantera, I was in.
Yeah.
Metallica same way. I'm still will always be. Fans of Metallica, fans of Pantera. We'll always, no matter what they do, we'll always cherish. They have albums, like both the bands have albums that we will always cherish.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's just like Metallica. I mean, they were, like I said, they were kind of the same thing. I picked up on them way before that. But I remember Neighbor Kid, he had Ride the Lightning. That's why that album's still my favorite, because that's the first one I really heard. But even that one took me a little bit to get into it, because, I was all straight up into hair metal stuff, and so going from that to Metallica, Ride the Lightning, that's a hell of a jump from listening to hair metal stuff. So that's what when the big four, and really Pantera could have, if they would have hit earlier, they would have been part of the big four. They would have been a fourth. Oh yeah,
they'd have been right up there, because they're still people put them in the same. they're mentioned in the same sentence as Slayer, Metallica, Megadeth. I mean, they're all within that same sentence, even though they were a little bit later.
They weren't really as much thrash, and I think that's why those bands get put together, is because those are more thrash bands.
Yeah, they were more groove.
Yeah, groove metal.
Kind of like, that's the way Rob Zombie is too, or White Zombie. That's kind of what that was too. Well, anyway, you want to roll on out of here?
Yep. Definitely, Andy. Hopefully you can get through this, and definitely keep you on our thoughts, and keep updated with you, and then we'll
keep up the good fight.
Yeah, keep the fight up, definitely, and we'll try to update, maybe do another video down the road here.
Yeah, we know you like some Alice Chains, and I wouldn't mind exploring some Alice Chains.
Yeah.
So, all right, we're gonna roll on out of here. Peace, Andy. Everybody else, see you when we see you later. Bye.
Peace.